Welcome back to the AI Daily Brief Headlines Edition, all the daily AI news you need in around 5 minutes. We kick off today with some reporting out of Meta. Now, Meta has obviously been in a big transition with its AI strategy over the course of this year. As we've covered extensively, their raiding expeditions across Silicon Valley have totally repriced AI talent in a huge way. As their superintelligence group has come together, we've started to see leadership and who fits where. But what we're getting now is exactly how that group is going to be structured. And to some extent, if this was just normal internal politics, I wouldn't really think it's all that worthy of spending a bunch of time on. But because of how it's been reported, with basically Wall Street taking it as a sign of chaos and even as a withdrawal from AI, I think we need to do a little bit of setting the record straight. So basically, at the end of last week, The Information published it as a scoop in a piece they titled Meta Plans Fourth Restructuring of AI Efforts in 6 Months. The headline implied that this has been some chaotic process, and even more, it implied that this was another big shift after and separate from the superintelligence effort in general. That doesn't seem to me to be what's going on here. What it looks like to me from the outside, and of course I don't know, I could be totally wrong about this, is that now that they've hired all this talent, they've made a decision about how they're going to organize the whole effort, and this is it. In other words, this is the natural, inevitable follow-up to the big shift, which was the creation of this superintelligence team, not some new effort that's like less than a month after that team came together. It's now getting shifted again. In any case, after the rumors came out, on Tuesday, Meta formally announced internally this new structure and explained the purpose for each group. Meta SuperIntelligence Labs will now comprise of the TBD lab, led by Alexander Wang, which will oversee their large language models, including Llama, FAIR, which is their fundamental AI research lab that's responsible for longer-term research projects, products and applied research, which will be led by Nat Friedman, former GitHub CEO and prolific AI investor, which will basically be charged with taking Meta's models and bringing them into consumer products, and MSL Infra, which will focus on supporting Meta's gigantic data center and AI infrastructure build-out. Alexander Wang, who also serves as Meta's chief AI officer, wrote in a memo to staff that the restructuring is supposed to accelerate the company's pursuit of superintelligence. He said, "Superintelligence is coming, and in order to take it seriously, we need to organize around the key areas that will be critical to reach it: research, product, and infrastructure." According to Bloomberg, no layoffs were part of Tuesday's reorganization. However, per New York Times sources, quote, "Some AI executives are expected to leave, and Meta is also looking at downsizing the AI division overall, which could include eliminating roles or moving employees to other parts of the company because it has grown to thousands of people in recent years." This led to follow-ups from the Wall Street Journal like this one. Meta freezes AI hiring after blockbuster spending spree. Quote, "The hiring freeze, which went into effect last week and coincides with broader restructuring of the group, also prohibits current employees from moving across teams inside the division." This led to this type of reporting from Axios: Wall Street faces an AI reality check from Meta. Meta stock fell this week on reports of the company looking at downsizing its AI division. Axios writes, "This is what Wall Street fears most, a pullback in AI spending from the companies propping up the entire stock market." Still, again, going back to the idea that this is just the shakeout from and culmination of those previous efforts rather than some new chaos, the New York Times also wrote that their sources said that the restructuring is likely to be the final one for some time. Bloomberg framed it as, "Meta is hoping to stabilize its AI efforts after months spent poaching dozens of top AI researchers from competitors with lofty pay packages." Look, if you're trying to understand the reporting and the reception of all of this, the big signal takeaway is that Wall Street is extraordinarily jittery and very much concerned by how much AI spending is at the center of the stock market's quote-unquote success right now. And so anything that has even a whiff of companies heading in a different direction is causing shockwaves. Now, if it makes you feel any better, this has been happening all year. Remember when there were reports that Microsoft was pulling back on their data center spending just because of a couple contracts that they let lapse because their priorities changed? There was a couple week period there where everyone was absolutely freaking out, and that ended up being a big nothing burger as well. In any case, the point is that we've yet to really see what this new Meta group is going to do, but I'm sure we will get more information about what their plans are soon. Now, speaking of the infrastructure side of Meta's build-out, Louisiana regulators have approved 3 new gas plants to power their largest data center. Entergy Corp is planning on building the facilities alongside Meta's 4 million square foot complex in rural Louisiana. Mark Zuckerberg announced the data center known as Hyperion in July, sharing that it would be comparable to the size of Manhattan. At full capacity, it's expected to consume as much as 5 gigawatts of power. Now, speaking of data centers, interesting one from OpenAI. In an interview on Wednesday, OpenAI's chief financial officer, Sarah Friar, said that OpenAI is currently not actively looking at renting out spare data center capacity to other AI companies, but said that, quote, "I do think about it as a business down the line for sure." Now, at this point, obviously, OpenAI does not have a lot of spare capacity that they could be renting out even if they wanted to. Each new model release sees them hit resource limits, and it sounds like the design of GPT-5 was even constrained based on how much compute the company anticipated having available. At the same time, as Sam Altman made clear in that dinner last week, OpenAI is planning on spending trillions on data center construction in the not-too-distant future. Fryer seemed to endorse this scope, commenting, "I think we are so in the early innings. Lots of prognostications want to say we're on a sugar rush. We're not. It's more like the railroads or the build-out of electricity than anything I've seen. The internet, in hindsight, was actually a relatively capex-light build-out, so I think we're just getting started. In terms of AI, demand is voracious right now for GPUs and for compute. The biggest thing we face is being constantly under compute. That's why we launched Stargate. That's why we're doing the bigger builds. And we're just getting started." A follow-up from the acqui-hire stories from last year and earlier this year, Character.AI is apparently in talks to sell themselves or raise more money as they figure out what's next. Sources speaking with The Information said that the company is holding discussions with potential acquisition partners and bankers to sound out a deal. Executives have also spoken with investors about raising a few $100 million at a valuation above $1 billion. Now, Character.AI is in a strange position in the industry. Last September, founders Noam Shazir and Daniel DeFreitas agreed to join Google in one of the first high-profile acqui-hire deals in AI. After they left, Character.AI's roughly 70 employees were left as the owners of the company. Now, these acqui-hire stories usually end with the startup winding down, paying out employees with the money they gained from the deal, or selling the company for parts. Windsurf was a recent example of the latter exit strategy. Despite losing their founders, however, Character.AI has continued to have a viable business and even expects to hit a $50 million ARR by the end of the year. The issue is that their services are starting to get more costly to run, and it's unclear whether they have the pricing power to charge more than their current $10 a month. Now, there's another question about why this information is leaking now, and whether that means they're in more trouble than it even seems. But still, to the extent that we are interested in how these weird sort of acqui-hire things play out, it's a good one to watch. Lastly, in an indicator of the growing viability of general-purpose agents, the company behind the Manus agent have hit $90 million in ARR. Now, one of the reasons that I'm watching them is that while we have seen the absolute total breakout use case of agentic coding, it's still very unclear how general-purpose agents are going to play out and if they're even going to be a thing outside of the context of the Foundation Labs or only as offerings from the Foundation Labs. 90 million annualized at this speed is no small feat, however, so maybe there are actually some legs there. In any case, for now, that's going to do it for today's AI Daily Brief Headlines edition. Next up, the main episode.